Kak, retired Air Vice Marshal, joins us now to help understand what all of this means. AVM Kak, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV18. Let me start by asking you what you make of the statement issued by India. India saying that they have proportionately responded to Pakistan's bid to escalate matters. Pakistan trying to engage a number of military targets in northern and western India: Avantipur, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adhampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Nal, Falodi, Uttarlai, Bhuj, and Pakistan has apparently used drones and missiles. Your first comments on what has transpired overnight, AVM Kak?
I think to me as also, without doubt, the government of India and armed forces, this is no surprise. There was bound to be a reaction from Pakistan to the very proportionate, non-escalatory, precision-targeted attacks on the terror infrastructure, which is being talked about, 24 terror targets out of approximately 9 areas in all. So this was expected. What defense analysts and those who believe that escalation of this conflagration is not in the interest of either Pakistan or India or the region in general, the Pakistani leadership has decided to be unwise. Instead of staying below a certain threshold of targeting military installations, they've done exactly the opposite. No need to comment on that. This is their wisdom, and we know how to handle their lack of wisdom. The picture reminds me somewhat of 3rd of December 1971. I was in that war. We were waiting for the war to start, and Pakistanis started with Shireen, exactly the number of airfields that you just read out were attacked by Pakistan, and that was the beginning of the war. I'm not sounding very negative in this, but I hope we do not start a 71 type of war. It's most unlikely, but the manner in which the Pakistani leadership has reacted, it imposes even greater responsibilities on the politico-military leadership of India, for the simple reason that in any escalation ladder climb under a conventional limited conflict with a nuclear overhang, the responsibility and the criticality of the stronger power in the power balance between the two countries is immense. And therefore, the statement that we will ensure there is a proportionate response to even this action by the Pakistanis, and you yourself mentioned about the neutralization of the Lahore air defense network. I hope, and it seems likely, unless lack of wisdom plugs in again from their side, that it will stay at this level. We have used some very high technology, smart weapons, very precise. I mean, the entire public of India has now knows, thanks to the media like you, as to what were the type of weapons used. I don't have to go into details of those. And exactly similarly, we have used the appropriate high-tech, very high-quality air defense missile system or whatever we have used against the attempted targeting of our military installation. I think so far it's so good, but once again, the leadership on both sides will have to take a deep breath and say, where shall we go from here?
And without meaning to speculate on where we could potentially go from here, AVM Kak, given the fact that in its overnight response, Pakistan has targeted these military bases, and as you pointed out to us, and thank you very much for that perspective, that this is pretty much what had happened in the 1971 war as well, what could be the other potential targets that the Pakistan military establishment may consider at this point in time without a full escalation?
The the choice has been already exercised by the Pakistani leadership, and that being targeting of military installations. There could also be, creative responses like was done by the Pakistanis at Balkot. You remember when we struck Balakot, the Indian Air Force, Mirage 2000s at that time, struck those terror infrastructure, those 4 or 5 buildings. What was the reaction of the Pakistani Air Force the next day? They came with weapons which were scattered around the line of control inside our territory, but they did not give battle. They did not use precise targeting because they were that time. And that was a different leadership. Military leadership was different, also mature leadership. They realized the dangers of escalating a conflagration into a limited conventional war, which will be not in the interest of either Pakistan or India. And if there is far, far more damage, it will occur to Pakistan rather than India. Because don't forget that Pakistan's position in terms of the closure of the economy window, the security window, the international relations window, it has so little of wherewithal to be able to sustain a conflict with India. More so if it stretches and it rises in terms of escalation.
Right. AVM Kak, this is, of course, also a war of narratives that is being fueled by Pakistan at this point in time. And we've seen repeated claims being made by ministers in the Pakistan political establishment as well as the military, suggesting that Pakistan has downed 5 aircraft of the Indian Air Force, something that has been refuted unequivocally by India. In fact, a short while ago, the Indian Defence Ministry issued another fact check saying that what is being circulated on social media are old videos and old pictures. But just for the benefit of our viewers, AVM Kak, help us understand. I mean, the Indian response has made it very clear that there was no, that India did not cross into Pakistan airspace, that whatever was carried out from Indian airspace and Indian soil. So this, is it even plausible what Pakistan is claiming?
Not at all plausible, but as a very senior media commentator, you will see through the game, because in this type of a conflagration, which is not interstate wars as we have done in the past, and we both referred to 1971, this is not even Kargil, it's even below Kargil. So in that sense, I think purely objectively and dispassionately analyzed, our response to Baisaran, which was a savage attack on innocent civilians, tourists, in a sensitive state of Jammu and Kashmir, which had just about started to look at a positivity in the years ahead, and economy was picking up. Kashmiris were getting more and more integrated into India in their psyche and their minds. And suddenly this attack obviously meant to derail that process of progress in J&K. And the Pakistanis always say we give moral and diplomatic support to J&K, but actually do exactly the reverse. This is precisely what is happening in the information domain. Now, due to lack of perhaps application of a sound communications and information management strategy, Pakistan has indulged in this disinformation, and sadly and unconvincingly to the entire world, not least India, claimed that they have shot down 5 Indian Air Force aircraft. Where have they shot them down? I mean, as you rightly mentioned, we have used weapons from our side of the boundary. So are we therefore meaning that they have shot down our fighter aircraft in our territory from their territory? How? I mean, there are no weapons they have to have that kind of a capability. So I think there is a lesson in this for our public and media channels like yours and many more, that fact-checking, bringing truth on the table, and defeating the designs of disinformation warfare, where optics and cognitive dimensions are very, very powerful impulses to change public opinion and attitudes.
AVM Kak, always a pleasure. Appreciate you joining us to help us make sense of the developments that have happened overnight, as well as help us navigate the war of misinformation and disinformation that is also being waged online. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.